Good evening. I'm Mark Cooks. I'm Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll be conducting the meeting tonight. So I will ask, if you would, to bear with me, because this is the first time conducting the meeting as Mayor Pro Tem tonight, so we'll walk through the process together, so thanks. We will first start out with our invocation. I'm not sure who's doing our invocation tonight. Richard is doing our invocation tonight. After which, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by our interim city secretary. Okay.
Let us pray. Father God, as we enter into this new year, we ask that you guide this council, guide this city, as we look at new things and refresh our outlook on this city, refresh our outlook on the decisions that are before us. We ask that you would impart and bless wisdom to the council and all those that set policy, and to staff and the city manager as we develop the procedures. And we just ask that you would continue to bless this community, that it would grow and it would prosper. We ask these things in the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you and welcome to the Duncanville City Council meeting, 203 East Wheatland Road. Our meeting here Tuesday, January the 7th, 2014. We will start out with information from our mayor's update, and so we'll do that. The Duncanville Fire Department will be featured on Wake Up with Whitney tomorrow morning between 6 and 7 on KTVT Channel 11. This upbeat news segment highlights and thanks first responders around DFW area, including firefighters, police, and paramedics. We are delighted to have the Duncanville Fire Department recognized for their hard work and dedication in helping keep us all safe. Tune in tomorrow morning. And we couldn't recognize them on television without recognizing them tonight. So would you stand with me and let's recognize our own fire department tonight with a hand clap. Thank you. I want to first introduce our new interim city manager, and we're glad to have Linda Humble, our new interim city manager. And I'm going to ask Linda to first introduce herself to us and any staff that she wants to introduce at this time.
Okay, that's great. My name is Linda Humble. I became your interim city manager on December 9th of this year. By way of background, this is not my first opportunity in the Best Southwest area. I spent 13 years in DeSoto in a number of capacities, most of which was assistant city manager, so I'm absolutely delighted to be back in the Best Southwest area. I have a real fondness for this area and had some very happy times in DeSoto and made a number of friends in Cedar Hill, Duncanville, and Lancaster, so I feel like I've come back home, and so I appreciate that. I've also been city manager in Rowlett. I've worked in Cedar Hill and the city of Garland. I have a background in economic development. I have managed a number of cities and am extraordinarily passionate about local government. I started my own consulting firm in July and have an interim management contract to be your interim city manager. One of the things that I will tell you is that I am blessed because I know what my calling is. I believe public service is a a privilege. It's not an entitlement. And I have a personal philosophy that I believe it's important that we leave it better than we found it while it's entrusted in our care, people, places, and things. And so my pledge to you as your interim city manager that I will do that for the city of Duncanville and the citizens of Duncanville, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve. I am delighted at the team that's assembled here with the employees and the staff. Every day has just really been a joy. I appreciate their energy, and most of all, I appreciate their commitment to you, the citizens. So I welcome the opportunity to spend the next year with you. Council hired me as an interim until a permanent replacement could be made, and I anticipate that process will start in June after the election. Mayor Pro Tem, there is a member of staff I would like to introduce, and that is our interim city secretary, who is Shirley A.C. King. Shirley, if you'll wave your hand. Shirley comes to us with a wealth of experience in the city secretary's office. Shirley was city secretary for the city of Dallas, and she retired there in 2006 and has contributed to other communities by sharing her expertise in an interim capacity, which she's doing with the city of Duncanville as well. She worked for the city of Dallas for 30 years and literally started at the bottom as an administrative secretary and worked her way through the organization to the esteemed position of city secretary. So we are very delighted to have Shirley on our team to help us through this interim period, and Shirley's also going to help us with the selection of the next city secretary, so you can be assured that that position is in very capable hands, and we look forward to working with Shirley. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Linda. All right, so let's move to, at this time, we'll go to our, Mayor, I'll recognize you when we get to our council report. At this time, we'll go to our.
This is the mayor's report time, and I will take it. It's for mayor.
Council, would you help us to
I am going to
identify
make a brief
on the mayor
statement at
report,
this
please?
time as to what's going on to
Council, I'm
help
asking for a legal
explain.
opinion on the mayor. I will allow her time to speak when we get to the report, when it's time for her to speak.
To the extent she's not been recognized, she has a point of order. If your ruling is not to allow her to speak at this time, she may raise it, and then that can be put to a vote if city council so chooses.
Okay.
I believe the citizens deserve an explanation as to what's going on right
At this point, she's not
now.
allowed to speak. She
Point
will
of
be allowed
order.
to speak. Mayor, what's your point of order?
This section says it is an update from city council. Presentations and proclamations, and our rules of procedure says that this is the time that the mayor's report is given immediately following the Pledge of Allegiances.
Okay. Mayor, at this time, you've removed yourself from acting mayor for tonight, and that's why I'm sitting in for you. So your mayor report is
I did
really
not
your
remove
mayor-
myself from acting mayor,
Okay,
and
Mayor,
our
let's
charter
just
forbids
bring it
the
to-
mayor pro tem from taking over
Okay.
in the presence
Mayor,
of
let's
the
just bring it
mayor.
let's bring it to a vote. I'm asking for a vote at this point. And all that will allow the mayor to speak now, please vote by saying yes. Anyone who says the mayor cannot speak at this time, please vote no. You're asked to vote at this time.
And again, I say that these votes in this meeting is not according to our
Please vote.
charter
Mayor-
and should not
Mayor,
be
you're out of
taking
order.
place.
Please vote. Okay, it's been ruled by 4. The mayor comments would be held until later.
Sir,
later in
those
our
were
agenda.
negative votes. I think they're saying I can speak.
No, I identified what it says, Mayor.
Point of
I said
order.
no. All right, so let's move to our next, let's go to any public meeting comments period card.
Mayor, those
I'll ask you
4
to-
votes just overruled you,
I
denying
just
me
asked
to
you to turn
speak.
those cards in. If not, we will move to our public hearing. At our public hearing, at this time, 2 minutes of comments will be taken from the audience on any topics to address council. Please submit a fully completed request card to the city secretary prior to the beginning of the citizens' input portion of the council meeting. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the city council cannot discuss issues raised or make any decisions at this time. Issue may be referred to the city staff for research and possible future action. At this time, I will call up Cynthia Stairs. And I would ask you to identify yourself with your name and with your address to the interim city secretary.
Yes, I'm Cynthia Stairs, and what did you ask me to say? 1203 Candlelight. And this was concerning the zoning, rezoning?
Okay?
Okay.
May I comment for you?
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to wait until that zoning part if you like, or you can speak now. It's totally
No,
up to you.
I'll sit and wait.
Okay, all right. Okay. Sid Hayes.
Good evening. My name is Sid Hayes. I live at 422 Azalea. For what reason was she dismissed? Whenever the item comes up for discussion?
Oh, for public hearing on a particular item on the agenda.
Yeah, sure do.
Yes, sir. So
Later.
is that what you want to do as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
And that's for a public hearing, for the public hearing item. Is that correct, sir? Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Does it have any, great.
Fabian Johnson. At this time, I'll ask Mr. Johnson, I have a restraining order that does not allow Mr. Johnson to speak to us tonight.
Public hearing, isn't it?
I've ordered he cannot speak to us tonight, and so he's been,
This is a public hearing, though. This is public office. This guy is
Mr.
having an affair with
Johnson,
my wife.
that public
having an
hearing,
affair
that
with my
public
wife.
hearing
That's what he's
item
trying to
says
hide.
that you cannot be within,
I just wanna let y'all know
within
that.
500 feet. I'll ask you to be removed at this time. Thank you very much.
That's what he's trying to hide, because he put
I'll
that
have
on
you
the notes.
removed at this time.
Y'all can remove me, but
Thank you very
he's having
much.
an affair with my wife. I want y'all to know
I'll
that.
have them be removed at this time. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Melinda Bowman. Melinda Bowman.
You need my address? Yeah, Melinda Bowman, 243 Harmon Street. And I'm wanting to find out what the Duncanville Police policy is on calling CPS. We've had a family in Duncanville that have had all their children removed because the policeman didn't like the number of children in the home. There wasn't enough grass in the yard, and one of the children that has issues and is preschool age had soiled themselves, and so he called CPS, and all the children have been removed. So I have children out at home who are afraid to be outside because they're afraid a policeman may come by and not like them and call CPS. So we're wanting to know what the Duncanville policy is on a policeman deciding when there's no abuse, no neglect shown, that they're going to call CPS. So we're just wanting to get that information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Judy Richards. Am I pronouncing that right? Julie, is it Judy Richards? Okay.
My name's Judy Richards. I live at 407 North Horn Street, Duncanville, Texas. I have since 1962. I sit in briefing and watched, I guess, one of the most atrocities that I have seen in a long time. I have watched over the last several months our charter be butchered by this council. It's not acceptable. I've been involved in Duncanville politics, and Stan can verify this, since 1986 when a road was put through our cemetery while he was sitting on the council. The charter itself belongs to all of these people out here. They voted on it. And for a council to sit up here and a new interim city manager that obviously hasn't even read our charter to literally disrespect all of the voters of Duncanville. I served up there just where y'all are sitting. Mr. Harvey, you're sitting in my old seat. I served 6 years. I was nominated by my council, not once but twice, to be the mayor pro tem. I was also elected to be the speaker for the city of Duncanville in Austin, Texas pertaining to laws that either the city did want or didn't want. Y'all have made a mockery out of Duncanville and our charter. Y'all have slapped these voters in the face. Y'all should literally remove yourself from this council. You're a disgrace. And I haven't been up here in years, but it's time that somebody needs to start speaking up. And I read that charter in and out. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself for what y'all did tonight. I don't know what y'all's agenda is to try to block out all of these people out here, but if I have anything to do with it, y'all aren't going to do it.
Russell Dodson.
Russell Dotson, 1503 Sharon Drive. Not knowing what the former speaker was going to say, I want to echo that. Does our city charter mean anything? Over the last year, I've read it many, many times to try to understand the proceedings of this council and the rules of our city, so I could be a good law-abiding citizen. From what I understand, the charter is supposed to govern us. And what I'm observing here tonight is outside the realms of that charter. And so from one voter, I just want it to be known that as a voter in the city, I expect decorum. I expect from leaders that they follow the charter. I have to. We all have to. I would expect this council to. And I would expect the members of the council to be men and women of integrity, men and women of character, that I can have confidence as a resident in Duncanville. So I would ask you to abide by the charter every step of the way.
All right, thank you very much. That's all of the citizen comments cards that I have at this point, so that closes out our citizen comments period. We will move to presentation and proclamations. Interim City Manager, is that?
We've covered that, sir. I believe we are at the consent agenda.
All right. We'll move to our consent agenda. 7A, consider and approve minutes from December 3rd, 2013 council meeting and the December 10th, 2013 workshop. 7B, consider action to approve resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding, interlocal agreement in Dallas County and other participating government agencies for paperless filing and handling of criminal records through the DCIM system. 7C, consider action to approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into the North Central Texas Public Works Mutual Aid Agreement by, between, and among the North Central Texas participating local government and the public political subdivision located wholly or partially within the state of Texas, acting by and through their duly authorized official for assistance in times of emergency. 7D, consider action to approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Dallas regarding the biotech contract to approve online medical control for the Duncanville Fire Department and execution of necessary documents. Those consent items 7A through 7D, for those who are following along, is also in your agenda packet. If you didn't follow along as I was reading them, I would like to now open it up for council members to make a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that the consent items 7A through 7D be approved.
Been moved?
Second.
Been moved and second. All in favor? Please vote. It has been approved 4-0. Item for individual consideration, 8A, conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance to change existing general retail zoning to planning development zoning to allow for self-storage facilities and caretakers residents with a development condition on approximately 5.8443 acres of land consisted of tract 18.1, Anderson Slayback Survey, abstract number 1299, Dallas County, Texas, more commonly known as 730 East Wheatland Road, at the request of Keisha Morris, representing Assured Self-Storage owner. Someone move to please open our public hearing.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we open a public hearing at this time.
Public hearing is now open to talk on item 8A.
Mayor Pro Tem, Mike Brownlee is available to make a presentation to staff on this item at this time.
Thank you, Mayor Council. This item is a zoning case. It's regarding a piece of property located at approximately the corner of Wheatland Road and Cockrell Hill. It's next to the Family Dollar across the street from the racetrack. It's currently a unplatted, undeveloped piece of property just under 6 acres. The applicant has asked to do a development that doesn't really fit into any particular zoning category. It's a combination of a caretaker's residence and a self-storage, and therefore we're presenting it to council tonight as a planned development. There are going to be some development conditions attached to this, namely an approved site plan. We will have water and sewer that need to be approved before we go forward. The property will need to be platted. There are some issues with screening walls, and those will be installed with the development, and the rest of the construction and development should comply with all applicable zoning and city ordinances.
All right. It's on to public hearing. Anyone speaking on 8A item? Public, okay, come on up.
Yeah, I own a property just behind this rezoning place.
Now you can give us your name and address one more time.
One more time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cindy Stairs, or Cynthia Stairs, 1203 Candlelight. Okay. Anyway, I was just wondering how this would affect the community area for, you know, some of these places can be look really, really nice and kind of fit in and look residential, and how they're built. And so I was just wondering if there's any definite, is this just a rezoning to lay it open, or is there someone who definitely is getting ready to build on this plot and develop it right away for this purpose of storage units?
Mr. Browning, our city manager, will you answer that for us?
Thank you. I can answer that question. Yes, the developer is prepared to build on the property. The visibility to the general public is really going to be limited to what you see from Wheatland Road between the Family Dollar and the Presbyterian Group Home, which is about 100 feet. So it should be fairly low visibility to the general public and the driving public.
Are they going to be one-story units or two?
They are one story. I'm not sure about the height, but they won't be visible from the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about security?
Well, it's going to be completely enclosed. It'll have masonry or wrought iron, depending on whether it's visible or not visible from the road. And there will be live-in managers, so there will be full-time security.
Thank you. That's really what I wanted to know.
Thank you.
I just got the letter that said nothing in it, really. Thank you.
Thank you. I also believe that the applicant is here. It's Ms. Keisha Morris is here. Would you like to talk to us about it?
Good evening, Council. My name is Keisha Morris, and I reside at 931 West Pleasant Run. I'm just going to basically give you an overview of what we plan to develop. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity and the time to present our plan. Mr. Volk is the owner and developer, and I work directly with him. He's owned and operated over 87 storage facilities in California and Texas. And today, he owns and operates 24 facilities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it's a family-owned business, and I see everything from the beginning to the end of developing these properties. Assured self-storage will bring the community of Duncanville as a whole cleanliness. You have 24/7 security because you have on-site managers. This will be a successful business. We also have another facility that's off of Highway 67. That's also in Duncanville, which is at maximum capacity. We see this development to be approximately $4.5 to $5 million. So in turn, this will bring the city and the school district more than it is right now. Its appraised value right now is $254,000. So instead of $2,000 to the city and $5,000 to the city, it'll be more like $65,000 to the city and $34,000 to the or $64,000 to the school district and $34,000 to the city. Assured self-storage is it's a contemporary, modern build facility that will add beauty to the city of Duncanville. Our landscaping we have crepe myrtles, Japanese pistache, live oaks, and we also have rolling hills. That'll be a buffer, 30-foot buffer between our property and you have the Family Dollar there and Callaway's. This is a very difficult piece of property to build on with the depth and I think Mike was talking earlier about the frontage there. There's not very much frontage on Wheatland. You got 200 or so feet of frontage. So basically, due to the shape and length and the depth of the property, it makes it difficult to build on. So I think that assured self-storage, this would be a prime location for it. And any other questions I can answer, I'd be more than happy to answer. Thank you for allowing us to present our development to you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we close the public hearing at this time.
Been moved. A second?
Second.
Been moved in second. For public hearing to be closed, please vote. Four, zero, public hearing is now closed. 8B, conduct a public hearing and consider the ordinance to amend existing special use permit.
Are we gonna take action on that item?
I don't think it requires action.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There would need to be discussion amongst the
Oh,
council
sorry,
to
yes,
consider
thank you.
the ordinance, and then if you like it the way it's written, you can adopt it. If there are any changes to it, then please make that in your motion.
Okay, great. Thank you, Councilman Smith. Back to 8A. Any council discussion on 8A on public hearing? I would ask Mike Brownlee to ask, what kind of economic development will this bring us on that land that is now, doesn't have any thing on it right now? What kind of development, what kind of economics will that bring to the city of Duncanville?
Did I understand you correctly, economic benefit?
Yes.
Well, the benefit economically of the city is just going to be an increase in the taxable value of the property. It's currently appraised at a little over $200,000, and once the project is completed, it'll be appraised at over $4 million. which is, over 10 times the current value. So all that money goes to the city as ad valorem tax. There wouldn't be a lot of sales tax. There may be some from selling boxes or moving supplies, that kind of thing, but primarily the benefit would be for ad valorem taxes.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from council?
Mr. Bradley, are these, as far as the restrictions that you said would be in there, are they pretty well complete? You feel like that's everything we need to have?
Well, we're gonna need fire lanes. We're gonna need fire hydrants back there. We'll need a water line to serve those fire hydrants. We'll need to maintain the drainage across the property because currently that's the natural drainage. So we'll have to make sure that's incorporated into the design. The facility will be locked, so there won't really be any public access unless you're doing business with them. But really, that's our concerns is just going to be development of the property provides fire protection and water circulation and drainage. I guess other considerations, let me back up a little bit. Callaway's has asked that we landscape the back of the property that faces them, and they are doing that. And that's really the only other consideration.
Kind of a natural shield or whatever?
Yeah, they'll have a masonry wall, but just to soften up that wall, we're going to plant some trees and bushes as well.
Yeah, I've got a question on the.
Yes, sir.
Is part of that land in the floodplain?
Yes, sir. Part of it's floodplain and part of it's designated as regional detention, so that kind of further inhibits the potential for development on that property.
That's what I thought.
Okay,
Yes,
now part of it is, what did you say? What was that last part?
Well, there's a regional detention pond that serves properties that are off-site, and water drains through that property into the detention before it discharges into the natural drainage way. So we'll have to maintain that.
Okay.
But it does encumber the property.
Okay.
Any other comments? I'll ask the city manager to read the capture of the ordinance that will be asked for us to adopt.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, it's an ordinance of the City of Duncanville, Texas, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance and map, and heretofore amended by granting a change in zoning from GR, General Retail Zoning, to Planned Development, PD, on property described as 5.8443 acres of land consisting of tract 18.1, Anderson Slayback Survey, abstract number 1299, Dallas County, Texas, more commonly known as 730 East Wheatland Road in the city of Duncanville, Dallas County, Texas, and being more particularly described in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein, providing for development regulations, providing for the approval of the site plan, which is attached hereto and incorporated herein at Exhibit B, providing a repealing clause, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, providing a penalty of fine not to exceed the sum of $2,000 for each offense, and providing an effective date.
I move for approval.
Second.
Been moved and second. Please vote. Passes 4-0. 8B, conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance to amend existing special use permit, special condition that allow the indoor party rental facility on Lot 16A, Block C, Crestview Edition, more commonly known as 608 Crestview Drive, at the request of Pamela, is it Disobey? Fodosabi, thank you, representing Lori's Reed, DFW owner. Lobster Ray, man, I got a great guy up here. Lobster Ray, DFW owner. Public hearing is now open. Yeah, I need a motion to open public hearing.
I move that we open the public hearing at this time.
Second.
Been moved and second, please vote. Passes 4-0. Public hearing is now open.
Public hearing is open.
Yes, sir. For that item for 8B.
8B.
Mayor, City Councilman,
I'm sorry, if you'll just give us
pardon
your name again and your address will be great.
yeah. My name is Doris Smith, and I reside at 1022 Dove Creek here in Duncanville. On August the 6th, y'all approved a special use permit for the La Soiree Event Center and made some changes to some of the conditions like the dress code and using the kitchen for cooking for their parties and those sort of things. There was another provision in there that is extremely important, and that is the operating hours of the event center. This is an event center that hosts birthday parties, anniversary celebrations, and those types of parties, and they cater to an immigrant community. And this immigrant community has slightly different traditions and customs than we do. They traditionally start their parties later, and they last later. And he is requesting that his hours of operation be extended to 4 o'clock in the morning, which is the limitation that most of his competitors in Grand Prairie, Cedar Hill, not Cedar Hill, but Grand Prairie, Lancaster, and Dallas have the option of staying open later, which puts them at a competitive disadvantage. I don't know why somebody would want to party till 4 o'clock in the morning, but I know that they do. That's the service they're looking for, and he's got to provide the service if he's going to get their business. We went back through last week to the public utility, to the planning and zoning, and presented our case to planning and zoning for the extension of the operating hours from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, which is what he is requesting for now. And they, like when a coach challenges a call and they say after further review, well, after further review, they voted 5-1 in favor of extending the operating hours to 4 o'clock in the morning. And at the previous hearing on this, I think the question was asked to Chief Brown if there's a significant increase or if he was aware of any increase in crime between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. And he said that he wasn't aware of that, of any increase there. To see what I could find out about the information, I filed a public records request with the police department for all police calls or records that they might have. And I received, and this was a month or so ago, and I'm talking about when I received the police report, it showed that there was one disturbance call that had been made for loud music. The policeman arrived on the scene, and the loud music was coming from a radio of an automobile parked on the street in front of the La Soiree Event Center. It wasn't coming from inside the center. It was coming from the automobile radio parked near the front. Now, if there have been changes since I received this report, I'm not aware of any of the details of those. I do know that the disturbance report was classified as minor. It was cleared that night. The officer was on the scene for 1 minute and 11 seconds, and he left after telling the guy to turn his radio down, and that was the end of that case. If any of you would like to see this police report, just indicate by raising your hand. I'll be glad to show it to you. So I'm here to encourage you tonight to go along with the P&Z recommendation, extend his operating hours till 4 o'clock in the morning, and this in no way will infringe upon your ability or your rights or your responsibilities to take corrective action if it proves to be a problem. And I would suggest if you would approve these operating hours, level the playing field, give him a chance to grow his business and make a profit, then you could review that in 3 months 6 months. You could review it tomorrow. You can do that, I understand, at any time. So this doesn't inhibit you or stop you in any way from taking whatever corrective action you think is necessary should anything like that occur. So I thank you for your attention and thank you for your service to our city.
Gail Sliger, 1405 South Main Street, Duncanville, Texas. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. I would ask that you would give serious consideration to this request. Having been in special event production for maybe more years than a lot of people here have been alive, I can tell you that a level playing field is important. And it's not just a cultural thing. I did many debutante balls in Dallas and other places, but they would invite you to a small dance beginning at 9 o'clock. The small dance might be 500 people or more. And the majority of the young people arrived at 11 to be appropriately late and stay until they quit serving alcohol and food, and then left and went somewhere else to continue the evening. So it is, I never have heard of any major problems that didn't happen at other times of the day. First place, they're too tired by then. So I would ask that you would give these young people who have spent considerable time, energy, and resources to build this facility in our community. It is sorely needed, and I would ask that you would give it your positive consideration. Thank you.
Are there others?
Good afternoon, David Liner, 1022 Glencrest Cove. I'm a Cedar Hill resident. Thanks for taking my time. I've been knowing the owners of this business, Pam and Mo, for over 15 years. It's not only just an opportunity to conduct business and have a level playing field, it's also the opportunity to run a business that, event business with integrity. Mo is certainly a man of integrity, so it's not only the type of events that you have, is who you actually lease your facility to have an event of integrity. So again, I've been knowing this gentleman and his wife for a long time. They're hard workers. They have put many resources of their personal resources into trying to start a small business. That's what America and the state of Texas and the city of Duncanville is all about, is the small business person. So I ask that you look at this this item for consideration and approve it. They're good people, and I wanted to take time to come and speak to you about that today. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Mo Desabi. I'm part owner of La Soiree in Duncanville. I am here today to appeal to you on a human level. I'm not going to go into details. You all probably are tired of seeing my face show up every few months in front of you. Hopefully this will be the last time that I stand before you seeking approval and in order to be able to recoup some of the massive losses we've sustained. My wife and I have acquired the property about 7 years ago, and we tried different businesses in that location, and we have been good neighbors to the other businesses around, but I know this is not the appropriate forum for it. But I'm going to appeal to you that when the city council sits in consideration of this demand that we're asking, that they should look into all aspect of it. You know, if you have a business that's trying to do good by city, we follow the law, we have invested money in it, the fire department code that was demanded, we abided by it, we invested over $25,000 to put a sprinkler system. You know, we don't go somewhere and just get handouts. We work night and day. I have 2 jobs. My wife has a job and a half. You know, we go out and we seek these funds in order to make our dream come true. We are an immigrant group. When I came to America 32 years ago, my hope and aspiration was to come to a nation where all men are created equal and opportunity was boundless. This is an alien concept where I come from. So when I come here and I see 1 or 2 individuals where no matter what I do, all they see is obstacles. All they see is obstacles. It really, I don't know what to say. It makes me cringe that I left a nation where this is the type of business that occurs. And I came here to the freest nation on the earth. America is the land of the free, home of the braves. We came here for that opportunity. So please, I am asking you in conscience that if you had a nephew, a son, a brother like me, we went to the bank, my wife and I. We worked hard to establish our credit. The bank gave us the loan to build that property. We have not done anything to disrespect, anything to bother any of our neighbors. So if you have a neighbor who constantly calls and complains about us, I want the city council members, if they have time on one of our events, come up to our facility, go over to this gentleman's property and stand. And then you listen to the noise level. And if you tell me that noise level exceeds the city decibel level that, I don't know what it is anyway, if it exceeds that level, then you tell me. We will do whatever it takes. We will put noise reduction equipment in there. We will insulate the windows, whatever it takes. But we shall not be shut down after investing $500,000 plus for 2 young people who came to America with a dream. I think the city council, it is before you today to make us succeed. If you approve our time, we can compete with Grand Prairie, we can compete with Dallas, we can compete with anywhere in the Metroplex. But if you decide you're not going to extend it, basically what you're telling us is, you know, you have half a business, and we can't succeed like that. We succeed, it's a tax base for the community. We pay taxes, we employ people. A lot of the Hispanic community comes there, do their quinceañeras, and they spend money in the community. People come from out of town, they book hotels. So it's a win-win for the city. I'm pleading to you on a human level that if I were your son, if I was your brother, and I invested my time and energy, would you say no to me? And if you have any concerns, please come over to the business. Don't take decisions from afar. Come closer. And you are welcome to. We will invite any member of the city council who wants to come in when we have an event. Let them see for themselves, hear for yourself before you make any judgment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we close the public hearing at this time.
Second.
Been moved in second. Please vote. 4-0. Public hearing is now closed. Now we open up for discussion for the council.
Mayor Pro Tem, I just want to ask a couple of questions for the record, and then I want to make a comment. I'd like the police chief to come up and answer the question for me. In his professional judgment, does the existence of this particular business have a significant criminal impact on the neighborhood in which it is located?
No, sir, it does not. Based on my professional opinion, which is supported by data, I have no concerns regarding the extended hours as it relates to criminal activity.
Okay, thank you very much. And I want to ask Mr. Brownlee to come up. And I want to ask him the question, if we approve this and we learn from our police chief that he has concerns about the impact, the negative impact on the neighborhood in which it is located, can we come back as a council and take action to remedy the situation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Here's my comment. Some of you may not know that I'm originally from New Orleans.
What? No.
And so I can remember a time in which I would go out and party all night, and around 5:30, 6 o'clock the next morning, we'd go and get breakfast and something to eat, and then I'd go home and I'd sleep in the day. I was kind of like vampire. I'd come out at night and I'd sleep in the day. Needless to say, I can't do that anymore now. Some of you might be surprised and say, oh my God, he was a party animal? Well, I used to be. But I came out okay. I think I've done okay despite my things I've done in the past. So I want to say that I am in support of this particular proposal, I'm going to go with the recommendations as approved by our Planning and Zoning Commission. I'm in favor of that, and so I think it's a win-win situation because it gives our businessman an opportunity to do the best that he can, and it also gives us monitoring oversight to make changes if conditions warrant it. So I'm in favor of this proposal.
I'm going to second that motion that we approve this. I want to give these folks an opportunity to be profitable and have the opportunity to be profitable. And I want them to be able to compete on a level playing field. And I know that it's a segment of the community that parties later than I care to party. But they need to have a safe place to do that and a good place to do that. And I think this business deserves a chance. They've put a lot of money into our town. And I've been to that facility, and it's a beautiful facility, and I want them to be successful. So I would be in favor of that as well.
Mr. Board, Councilman Board.
Yeah, I would say that I'm in favor from an economic point of view, but I'm more in favor because a citizen, or more than a citizen, several citizens, but one in particular, Doy Smith, who took it upon himself in no capacity other than wanting to help somebody who came to our town. And I have all the respect in the world for Doyce, and he's been a leader in our school system, and I believe he did his homework. He helped us to see a decision that we needed to modify a little bit. So I think when citizens get involved to help others, and so for that reason, I have the confidence that the research is not from one who is advocating a profit, but one who has been a longtime citizen, and I believe is doing this because he believes it's the right thing. And I trust the judgment of Doyce, and so I thank him for that, and I'll be voting in favor of it.
I'll make comments there. You know, initially when I heard 4 o'clock or 4 a.m., I was kind of concerned because I know we had this back and forth, but after hearing from Planning and Zoning, after hearing from you at public hearing, and after hearing from the owner, especially after the owner made a statement about people who are attending the parties can go to the hotels. So please make sure that they do go to the hotels real close by and have a great night's sleep. And if there's any way, I'm always for this last part, if it's any way that you could track that information, that when you have a large facility, that tracking information can be to calling the nearby Duncanville hotels and saying that you have a very large event that's happening that night, where they can prepare for that event, and then they'll know in the future to seek you for other large events and know to prepare for you as you have large parties. So with that, I will also be supporting the time initially as well. Though I'm also like Harvey, I'm asleep around that time, so I'll be supporting it as well. So I need a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been moved in second. Please vote.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, ma'am.
May I read the ordinance into the
Yes, I'm
caption?
sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry, City Manager.
An ordinance of the City of Duncanville, Texas, amending the comprehensive zoning ordinance and map, and heretofore amended by amending an ordinance for a specific use permit, ordinance number 2203, to amend the existing conditions by amending the allowable hours of operations for the specific use permit on Lot 16A, Block C, Crestview Addition, more commonly known as 608 Crestside Drive, in the city of Duncanville, Dallas County, Texas, providing for the approval of the development conditions as revised herein, providing for a repealing clause, providing for a savings clause, providing a severabilities clause, providing a penalty of fine not to exceed the sum of $2,000 for each offense, and providing an effective date.
I move for approval.
Second.
Been moved in second. Please vote. 4-0, it passes. City Manager, let me ask, you asked in the briefing that we read something into this. Did we do that properly?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, 8C, conduct public hearing and consider directing staff on request of Gabriel Ekpo, owner, to amend the existing special condition of the planning and development, single-family residence, zoning on Lot 1 to 11, Block A, Antrim Addition, located on the southern cul-de-sac of Royal Avenue, being a replat of the portion of Tract 5, Block C, Daniel Acres Addition. We'll have a presentation from Mr. Brownlee first, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Mayor Tim, or Pro Tem, Council. This property has quite a bit of history behind it. It's it started out as undeveloped, unplatted property. It was part of a residential single-family zoning, 1,400 square foot minimum square footage for homes to be built. There was a developer that put forward the notion of a planned development on the property, which currently exists, and the property was platted according to the conditions of the planned development. There's 10 lots, buildable lots, with an 11th lot that would be in a common area. So all these things, including streets, water, sewer, alleys, drainage, it all exists. The only thing that doesn't exist are houses. Now, one of the problems, I think, what we ran into was the planned development basically called for custom homes, and the economy in that neighborhood doesn't support that. The planned development amendment requires they comply with our subdivision ordinance and building codes. That's all. There is a component in there for a future trail connection on the 11th lot, which is the common area. That may or may not be built, but it's an amenity that would provide a amenity to that neighborhood and an amenity to the surrounding community for connection to Main Street. And there's also a provision for a mandatory HOA to maintain that lot. So now as a result of that, we don't have the ordinance ready at this time. According to our old procedures, the ordinance would follow, and what we've done is provided a draft of the HOA agreement to the developer, and we're working to get that approved with the developer and get the city attorney's approval as well. Now, with that HOA, that will ensure that that 11th lot, the common lot, is properly maintained and it doesn't fall into the hands of the city to maintain. So really the only other unusual aspect of this property would be the size of the lots. They don't conform to our minimums for that R1.4, and this makes it difficult to develop. So what I've done and what the developer's done is demonstrate that he has a plan and he has homes that can be built And there's some examples in your packet. All these homes are 1,400 square feet or larger. So they will fit in with the surrounding neighborhood. And I might add, too, that the developer is also a builder, so his intention is to build homes and not sell lots. So we do expect some new home inventory out there fairly shortly.
So basically,
Thank you. We need to open the public hearing, and we'll reserve the comments for council in just a second.
Move that we open the public hearing at this time.
second.
Been moved and second. Please vote. 4-0. The public hearing is now open for 8C.
Evening again. My name is Sid Hayes. I live at 422 Azalea, which is just right down the alley from the property in question. All the neighbors that back up to that particular piece of property were puzzled as to what these existing special conditions were and what they will be amended to. I think my question was just answered by the gentleman when he said something in regard to the original plan was to build custom homes in there, and there's just not enough property or space to do custom homes. So I'm sure these are going to be a downsize, smaller home, although 1,400 square feet's bigger than my home was before I put an addition on it. The thing that concerns me is the traffic in the alley. I hope that the new residents, when they do decide to live there, will take the Royal Lane exit out of there and not make our alley a thoroughfare. There's already enough traffic on it as it is. But we just want to make sure that something is built there. It says that they are single-family residential homes, and we hope that we were assured by the planning and zoning that they would still be single-family residential homes, because first thing that came to our minds was somebody's going to replat the thing and we're going to have apartments or duplexes there, which we really didn't care for. But hopefully they will be fine enough homes that y'all wouldn't mind having them in your neighborhoods if they were built that close to where y'all live. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others to speak on public hearing for 8C? Is the developer here?
Good evening, Council. My name is Gabriel Ekpo, 609 Vanilla Court, DeSoto, Texas, 75115. I'm a partner to this development. I'm a real estate broker, and I have been actively engaged in the real estate industry for over the past 20 years. I am a salesman. I know what is good for the neighborhood, and that is what we intend to put in there. And with the help of my architect, he has already started the construction and house designs. So as soon as we get the approval from the city council, he's going to put finishing touches to the plans, and we expect to break grounds in a couple of months. As I assured the Planning and Zoning Commission, the lots are not for sale. We're going to actually plan and build. So that is what I want to assure the council also, that the houses is going to be built there, constructed, and perhaps sold out within this year. If you have any questions.
what building experience does your group have as far as other developments that y'all have built?
I have as I told you, I have about 20 years experience. I'm a real estate broker. I started buying houses and renovating in Lancaster, DeSoto, Duncanville here, and also built houses. My company is called New Home Sales Center. I work with new home builders. That is where I acquired my experience.
Have y'all built any other homes? I know you've sold homes.
Yes.
You have a construction company, or will you be subcontracting?
I will be subcontracting. I will be the general contractor. I have to make sure I take hold of the whole construction.
And will you be building speculative homes, or will you be building sold homes?
It's going to be spec homes, but it's open. I will leave it open to the public. If somebody comes in and looks at any of the house plans, they want to make changes, we can allow that also.
And what do you expect those homes to sell for?
Within 100, since it is, the neighborhood is not very upscale, so we want to put in something that will be between 100 to 129,000.
All right, thank you. We may call you back up. Let's go ahead and finish public hearing initially first, and then we'll come back with more questions. Anyone else for public hearing for item 8? C? If not,
I move we close the public hearing at this time.
Second.
been moved in second. Please vote. Passes 4-0. We'll open up now for council comments and questions.
I'm very familiar with that area and have watched that area on several occasions, thinking that it was going to start up in the redevelopment. There, as in a lot of areas of our town, there used to be a very active swim club that was right there, which is no longer active. Just as of today, I reviewed a lot of foreclosures that have occurred in that area. But there's some beautiful lots. There's a lot of potential for development. And if you will do as you said, and you build these homes, I think not only will the existing homeowners benefit from that, I think some of the land in which the structures will be taken down, and this will promote further development. It's only a block and a half or so off of Main Street. There's our very famous fresh fruit and vegetable activity is there. It's walking distance to the bowling alley. So it has all the makings of the things we've talked about in our community of redevelopment. And so I think this is encouraging that it will stimulate people to invest in the other surrounding properties that right now everybody's kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with that platted land that just sits there. So as we all know, activity when a crane goes up in downtown or dirt starts moving, I think it affects the prices of the existing people. And I have confidence that our structural people, our code people, and our building people will enforce and ensure that these people do exactly as they say. If not, then that's who will be holding accountable. Because I believe it's a good thing for our community to see this activity occurring. And it is affordable housing, and that's what we have to have.
I'm glad that, it sounds like that 11th lot is going to basically be a green space, open space, that the homeowners association will maintain. Is that basically correct? Okay. I think that's a wonderful thing, and I'm glad to see we're having some houses again that is going to be affordable. So I'm glad to see something happening on that. I know the infrastructure was put in years ago, and glad to see that it's finally going to pay off for the city.
Any other comments?
Mayor, if I might, there was when I discussed this with staff, and one of the things that the P&Z had made a recommendation on conditions number 11 and 12. 11 was the homeowners association requirement to provide that document. We've provided a specimen document that we find acceptable from planning staff and legal that we would like them to consider. And also, there's provision in here to grant an easement for hike and bike trail and some future public access. We would ask that if the council were inclined to approve this item, that they would add as a condition that that homeowners association document would be executed and filed at the time of passage of the ordinance, and that the blanket easement be a part of the actual ordinance itself and attached and filed prior to the adoption. So that those matters are taken care of, and we don't have to worry about that in the future. Thank you.
We will ask our city manager to read that into her to put that into her document. And at this time, city manager, would you read the ordinance in?
There is no ordinance attached. What we are seeking tonight is direction. And if you are satisfied with what City Attorney Robert Hager has indicated, then you would give staff direction to bring you back an ordinance that acknowledges planning and zoning's recommendations, and then, as the city attorney stated, that these records be appropriately filed prior to the adoption of the ordinance, and we won't bring you back that ordinance until that happens, if that's your direction.
It's a lot to digest, so let me take a stab at it. I move for approval of this initiative based on the conditions as stated by our attorney, and that staff prepare an ordinance for us to approve once the required documents are filed as stated by the attorney.
Been moved?
If Patrick, if I could ask you to say, instead of approve, just say that we would consider, because you have to vote on it then, so you can't vote on it now.
What it needs to.
If you don't mind, what I'd say it'd be a motion to approve agenda item 8C with changes to condition number 11 to include that the mandatory and perpetual homeowners association document be executed by the owner and filed a record, and that item 12, that the city shall have received a permanent blanket easement on the common areas for future hike and bike trail consideration.
Okay. I move for approval of this initiative based on all of the things that the city attorney just said. Thank you.
Been moved?
I'll second that initiative recommendation also.
Been moved in second. Please vote. Approved 4-0, 8C. 8D, consider action to approve resolution authorizing the approval of landscape participation grant requested by Louis Rainey as a representative of the Pelican House Restaurant in the amount not to exceed $6,000 for the property located at 107 South Cedar Ridge Drive, Lot 11, Block Number B, authorizing city manager to execute the necessary documents.
And Mayor Pro Tem Cook, as we indicated in the work session, that should authorize the board president of the Duncanville Economic Development Corporation to execute the necessary documents in accordance with the bylaws of that corporation.
Okay. Open for discussion.
I was wondering if the owner was present, so he can come up and tell us, give us some background on this particular item.
Hi, my name is Louis Rainey, and I'm representing the Pelican House Restaurant at 107 South Cedar Ridge Drive, Duncanville, Texas. Yes, we are requesting that we be able to put out landscape to help beautify the front and the side of our location. Right now, business is starting to increase tremendously, and we think by adding landscape and some beautification things to our area, that would also increase our visibility and also increase our business. So with that.
All right, thank you. Any other comments for council? If not, need a motion? Or?
I make a motion that we authorize the board president of the Duncanville Economic Development Corporation to approve and sign this contract in conformity with the bylaws of the Duncanville Economic and Community Development Corporation.
For the motion?
Sorry about that. In the amount of $6,000, not to exceed $6,000.
For the motion?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Please vote. Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations on your grant award. 8C, consider action to approve resolution authorizing approval of paint grant requested by Andrew Polasek as a representative of Ideal Floors, an amount not to exceed $2,450 for the property located at 638 East Highway 67, authorizing city manager to execute the necessary document. I think this is also the one that we need the president of the board to accept, to sign.
Yes, sir.
Any open for comments for council?
Is Andrea here tonight?
Is there a motion?
I would move that we go ahead and approve their paint grant for the Ideal Floors on Highway 67 in an amount not to exceed $2,450 for the property located at 638 East Highway 67, and authorize the Duncanville Community and Economic Development Corporation president to execute the necessary documents.
Second.
Motion is second. Please vote. Motion carries 4-0. 8E. 8F, to consider action to approve resolution authorizing approval of a signage update grant requested by Louis Rainey as a representative of Pelican House Restaurant in the amount not to exceed $4,703 for the property located at 107 South Cedar Ridge Drive, lot number 11, block number B, and authorizing by city manager to execute the necessary document. This is also the item that the president of the board would have to sign as well. Open up for council comments.
I would like to, I'm definitely for this, but I think we missed a great opportunity to let Mr. Rainey tell our citizens what his restaurant specializes in. I'd like for him to come up and do that if he would. People around here like that good Creole cooking and stuff. You've got some great soups.
Again, my name is Louis Rainey, representing the Pelican House Restaurant at 107 South Cedar Ridge. And as like Mr. Harvey, we are a New Orleans-based company, and we specialize in Cajun and Creole food. So we would invite everyone to come over and try some of this good Cajun and Creole food. We're a little different than Papados. We are naturally New Orleans. okay? And you will see the difference in our food. Not to say anything negative about Papa Do's, we love their food as well. However, we're a different type of restaurant, and we would like for you all to come and try us, and it's good. Now that the house is starting to pack up, the word is getting out. Our Duncanville residents and surrounding cities, and as far as from Plano and Forney, Texas, even some cities I've never heard of. Folks are coming far and near. Even the newspapers from around North Texas have said some great favorable things about our food. In addition to that, we have a great catering menu. So we would invite everyone to come over and try.
Hours of operation?
Yes, sir. We're open for Monday through Thursday. We're open dinner only, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. On the weekends, we're open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. as well.
Now, what are your hours on Friday?
Friday, we're 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Friday and Saturday, I'm sorry. Yes, we're closed on Sundays.
Okay, all right, that's good.
All right. Thank you. Any motion?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve this resolution for a signage update grant not to exceed $4,703 for the Pelican House Restaurant, and authorize the president of the Economic Development Corporation to sign and execute the documents in conformity with the bylaws of the organization.
Second.
Been moved in second. Please vote. 4-0, motion carries. 8G, consider action to approve of a resolution authorizing termination of the Economic Development Funding Agreement in the amount of $30,077.24 between the City of Duncanville and the Duncanville Community Economic Development Corporation for mooring maintenance of the Interstate 20 right-of-way and the field house grounds. Authorize staff to utilize the general fund for the purchase of mooring maintenance of these properties. I see our park director is up to speak.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Bart Stevenson, I'm the Director of Parks and Recreation. I'll be speaking to you on this item tonight. As you're aware, the December 3rd meeting, the council approved the consolidation of our mowing contracts. We had 3 contracts previously. We consolidated that contract into one. That did exactly what we wanted it to do. It provided us great cost savings and economies of scale by putting those together, as well as it streamlined our management requirements, allowing our staff to manage one company instead of 3. So it did exactly what we thought it would do. Historically, the mowing of the field house and Interstate 20 have been funded through the Economic Development Corporation and the Beautification Fund. With the great savings that we saw in this contract, in this bid award, at the December 12th meeting, the Economic Development Corporation discussed this item as to whether the funding should continue to come from the beautification funding stream. At that time, they elected to kick this back to the council for your consideration and direction in how to fund the mowing. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here today. Should you elect to spend the money out of the general fund for the mowing, then all we need to do is to terminate the agreement and not move forward with that. However, if you want to continue funding the mowing out of the beautification fund, we'll need to send it back to the EDC for your future consideration and then back to council again. So with that, I will conclude my remarks and answer any questions you might have.
Well, the total savings by combining all of these comes out to significant savings.
Correct.
Each year, less than what was funded previously out of the general fund by about $10,000, if I remember correctly.
Well, the total contract is around $225,000. We had budgeted in the general fund alone $261,000. So it's roughly about $36,000 savings in the general fund, should we fund it all out of the general fund.
Okay, okay. Not to mention, the Economic Development Corporation could save that money on the beautification end of it as well.
I just want to make a comment. I want to thank and congratulate each and every member of the staff that was involved in this initiative. It's obviously a win-win situation in that it saves taxpayer money, and it also allows the Economic Development Corporation resources to be used specifically for that purpose. So I want to congratulate every member of the staff involved with it. I would name names, but I don't know all the names, so I'll just blanket commendation. And I'm in support of this initiative. So I make a motion that we approve this resolution.
Heard a motion?
I will second that, and in seconding that, I just want to clarify, you're in favor of everything coming out of the general fund and saving the money, and I agree with that for the Economic Development Corporation. I'll second that motion.
Right. Been moved in second. Please vote. Motion carries 4-0 for 8G. 8H, consider action to approve a resolution authorizing the annual purchase of a senior meal program services for Dine Right LLC in an amount of $55,390 through a joint bid with the City of Lancaster Corporation, and authorize the city manager to execute the necessary document.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Council. Again, Bart Stevenson, Director of Parks and Recreation. The contract for our senior meals expired at the end of last year, last fall. The City of Duncanville and Lancaster did a joint bid to seek the services for meal services. The City of Lancaster did take the lead on this project, and they worked in conjunction with our staff on this project, on this process. Another more good news, the bids came in much lower than what we were previously receiving from the paper plate. Now, I also realize that doesn't mean you get as good a service or as good a food. So we've had several meetings with the new service, Dine Right. I feel confident that they are going to provide the services that we require and we demand, the customer service, the good food, and I look forward to good progress and a good partnership with Dine Right. This contract is essentially the same, or is the same, as what has already been approved by the City of Lancaster, and with the names changed. So with that, I'll conclude my remarks and answer any questions you might have.
Would you explain the program, what the individuals pay and who's eligible?
Absolutely. This is a program that's been available to the citizens of Duncanville for over 30 years. It is lunch services for anyone ages 60 and over. The meals are all USDA approved. They go through a rigorous, the menu itself goes through a rigorous scrutiny to make sure that it meets all the regulations in providing good nutrition for our citizens. There is no cost to anyone ages 60 and over. It is a free service. We do ask that the diners pay 75 cents. It is a voluntary contribution. This program is completely reimbursed by the federal government, so it essentially is a no-cost service to the citizens of Duncanville. So, if you were under 60, you can also purchase. If you were visiting someone at the senior center, you can eat as well, but you have to pay the full price of the meal. It's around $7, I believe. So,
What?
No, they charge a little higher. Yeah. We charge a little surcharge for overhead.
What's the thought process behind the 75 cents?
That is something that has been that every service, every senior center suggests. The amounts vary, but every senior center has a voluntary contribution. Again, that helps offset the cost of the meals, because without that contribution, we would not have sufficient revenues to cover the total cost of the program. So with the grant that we receive from the federal government and the voluntary contributions, we cover the cost of the entire program for the year. It does take both.
Any comments?
I just want to see, just want to make mention to Council Member Boyd that, you know, it may be DC AAA that has, I guess, input or suggestions into that, because Seagoville has a senior center as well, and they charge 75 cents to their seniors. So it may just be, you know, one of those friendly comments and suggestions from the oversight agency.
Well, what I was going to say was, since I'm the only one who qualifies, I'll invite y'all as my guest.
We thought you was going to do that. We knew that was coming. We knew that was coming. We knew that was coming. Any other comments for Mr. Stevenson or for this agenda item? All right, want to make a motion, please?
I move for approval.
Second.
Been moved in second. Please vote. Motion carries 4-0. At this time, the agenda called for adjournment, but we did postpone one of the, with the new agenda, City Manager. Thank you, allowing time for councilman comment. I think we postponed to move that to the end. Is that what we did? So help me explain what we did here.
At this time, I think you've worked through the agenda, and unless council has any further comments, we're to the place we can adjourn.
Any other comments from any other council?
I just want to make a real quick comment congratulating the Lions Club and Steve Martin and Duncanville Athletics for the outstanding performance of the Sandra Meadows Basketball Classic. I had an opportunity to see many of the games. It worked in quite nicely with my schedule. I've been wanting to go to the Sandra Meadows for several years, but just couldn't take off. But I had an opportunity to do it, and it was quite a show. I was very, very impressed with the leadership of the Duncanville girls basketball team. They are outstanding. They met the Goliaths from Whitney Young in Chicago and just cut them down to size. So I want to give kudos to everyone involved in putting together the Sandra Meadows Classic. It is a jewel on the calendar of what we do as a city in Duncanville. So if you see Steve or any of them, tell them I gave them a shout out. Thank you.
Councilman Boyd.
You know, Linda, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We have a number of new activities in our community, from retail to business opportunity. Papa Murphy's has bought the old Inwood Bank over on Cedar Ridge, and they'll be opening an operation there. Understand we have a new bike shop that's going to be opening up on Main Street in the old Lincoln Lock lean-to looking building. We have had a major fabrication company located over on Explorer, and it was some good employment. We have a major grocery store that'll be coming in and has been rebuilding the old Walmart. And we also have I don't guess any of the other items are not talked about, but Walmart, as y'all know, is building out in Clark Road behind the McDonald's, but they are holding employment opportunities in the Farmer Wine Store right by the Pelican, in the same parking lot as the Pelican restaurant. That's where they're doing their employment and interviews. So you want to pass that word around to people if they have an interest in that. And is the other drugstore issue, is that a public announcement? Yeah. Yeah, Walgreens will be replacing Taco Bueno. Taco Bueno, if you notice, is closed and vacated. And so as the practice between the Hatfields and the McCoys, there will be a Walgreens CVS face-off, as is done in most of the areas. So, but you know, I want to say that this energy and this effort is not because of anything that the new people up here have been elected to do. I want to give credit to the prior council and the efforts on their part, because these people didn't make these decisions just yesterday. And so lots of times people like to claim that we're doing all this. We're just getting the benefit, and I want to recognize that. I always try to be fair to that situation. The 99-cent store was on the efforts of one of our council people. So that everything is working good right now, and we just want to keep that momentum going. And I thank all the efforts on the past from all the people and the staff and everybody involved. So with that, that concludes my comments.
Okay. Well, if that's it, I think the meeting, okay.
I do want to say, I didn't get to watch too many games at the Sandra Meadows, but I always enjoy working it, and I do get to catch the last half of the Duncanville game every night if they're fortunate enough to be in it, and it's always very competitive. Those games are very good. There were 5 previous state champions from other states there, recent state champions, and that Whitney Young team from Chicago, Illinois was nationally ranked, and our girls beat them. Our girls nationally ranked as well. Very competitive game, and our girls taught them a little something about how to play basketball. If we ever get on the same court with them, maybe they can learn how to be good sports from our girls as well. But I want to take this opportunity right now. Yesterday or Sunday afternoon, a couple of brothers, David and Philip Daniel, were awarded their Eagle Scout from the Boy Scouts of America. Both of these young men are former drum majors at Duncanville High School the last couple of years. David is on an academic scholarship to be something like a biochemist or something like that, I couldn't even read one of his, textbooks for whatever it is he's doing, but he's an extremely bright young man. His younger brother, Philip, is interviewing right now with our service academies, and I think he will do very well as well. Very top-notch graduate from Duncanville High School. So I'm proud of both of these young men and their efforts, and I wanted to recognize them publicly.
All right, thank you. Mayor?
Well, first I'll start off with a little information that happened in briefings that you need to know. Part of our order of business in the past has been to have 2 meetings. You had a complete meeting for briefing from 6 to 7, and then you had a complete meeting for the council session from 7 to whenever. So this agenda, though, called for just 1 meeting tonight that was to start at 6 o'clock and end at whenever the regular session was over. So there would only be 1 call to order and 1 adjournment for tonight's meeting. Now, we have rules of procedures that are ordained or ordered by our charter, and I read that, and it says, "The council shall determine its own rules and order of business." That is very clear. That was delegated to the council to control our own. We have written our own rules of procedures. We do have an order of business. And a large number of those rules were ignored and changed without any council approval. And in my opinion, that violates the city charter. Not only did it not follow our rules, but it violated the city charter. That, for me to participate in a meeting that violates rules and our charter, goes against my character. When I ran saying that we need to follow our rules, we need to honor our charter, we need to honor contracts. We weren't even honoring contracts at that time. We still have contracts right now that are current that we're not honoring and we're not keeping track of. So when the meeting started, At 6 o'clock, I called it to order, and I said, this meeting violates our charter, and I was not going to allow it to continue. And I adjourned the meeting. That meeting was adjourned. This meeting that is going on right now had been adjourned already. But it was the decision of the council then, again, to violate our city charter that says the mayor pro tem only presides in the absence of the mayor or in my inability. And that is why I have sat here in this meeting, because he had no authority to run this meeting as long as I was sitting here. Once again, violating our city charter. Rules have a number of reasons for being put in place. One of the important reasons for rules is that they create order. When we didn't follow our rules tonight, the result was disorder. That's what happens when we don't follow our rules. All of the commotion tonight was created based upon the fact that our rules weren't followed. Rules are important. And so that is, for me, I will uphold the rules, and I will say when we're violating our charter, and I would not participate in this meeting because of those reasons. And whether the business conducted tonight was done lawfully or not will remain to be seen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. We will just need to make a comment. Tonight's meeting was conducted under our city attorney's direction. So we are standing by our city attorney with his legal opinion. So thank you very much, and meeting's adjourned. Oh, it's 8:45.